Hi and welcome to the video on stem and leaf plots. By the end of this video, you should be able to both draw and read a stem and leaf plot. So let's take a look. Stem and leaf plots look like horizontal column graphs using numbers. They're a way of organizing information. Let's take these random numbers and let's put them into a stem and leaf plot. We begin by drawing what looks like a table with two columns, stem and leaf. Now the stem represents the tens digits in our set of data. So we look for our smallest and our largest numbers, the 7 and the 42, and this will tell us what to start our stems at and what to finish our stems at. So to start with, we have the number 7, which has a 0 in the tens column, and we're going to end with a 4 because of the 42 has a 4 in the tens column. So that's our stem numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. They represent the units, then the 10s, the 20s, the 30s, and the 40s of our numbers. Now, to put the 24 into my stem and leaf plot, I'm going to place the 4 in the 2 row. This represents 24. To represent 25, I'm going to put a 5 in that same row. This represents the numbers 24 and 25. To put the number 13 in, I'm going to put a 3 in the 1 row. Where do you think I might put the 9? The 9 will go in that first row with a 0. And the 7 will go in the same row. How do you think I'll represent 40 in this stem and leaf plot? I'll put a 0 in the 4 row. For 42, I'll put a 2 in the 4 row, and for 24, I'll put a 4 in the 2 row. This is a stem and leaf plot, but it's not ordered just yet. I want you to pay special attention to the leaves in my stem and leaf plot at the moment. They're not currently in order from smallest to biggest. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to rearrange them so that I have them from smallest to biggest. This is a stem and leaf plot. It's used because we get to see certain things very quickly. We get to see the smallest number and the largest number very quickly. We can count up the leaves to count up how many scores we had. And we can also see where the concentration of our scores are. In this case, we have the most in the 20s and some in the units and in the 40s. So that's really easy to see from this data straight away. Let's answer some questions using a stem and leaf plot. Here I have a stem and leaf plot which goes from the 90s into the 110s, and we'll look at that in a little bit later. And we're going to answer a few questions. How many scores are there first of all? And then we're going to find the mean, mode, median, and range. So let's start off with how many scores there are. All I have to do this is count up my leaves. Take a second and do that for yourself, and you'll find that there are 11 leaves, so there are 11 scores in our data. Now what we want to do is find the mean. And in order to do that, we need to add up all our numbers, which means we need to be able to read our stem and leaf plot to know what numbers to add up. That first row represents 91, 92, 93, and 93 again. We're going to add those to the second row and the third row, and using our calculator we'll get a total of 1144. What I want to do from here is divide that by the number of scores that I have in my stem and leaf plot, which we already know from question number 1. So our mean will be found by doing 1144 divided by 11, which in this case is 104. Our average is 104. Now we're going to find the mode. Now to find the mode, we're going to find the scores that happens the most. In this case, we're actually going to have 2. The number 93 occurs twice in the first row, and the number 105 also occurs twice, which means that our mode for this set of scores is both 93 and 105. It's what we call bimodal. The prefix bi means 2, like a bicycle has 2 wheels. Modal is just an extension of the word mode. So something that is bimodal has 2 modes. Now the median is our middle score. We have 11 scores, so we know that it's going to be roughly around the 5th or 6th number. But let's use the cross-off method to work it out. So the cross-off method, if you remember from our last video, is to cross off the lowest and the highest scores. And we repeat this process until we're left with 1 or 2 scores. In this case, just the 1 score, which is our median. In this case, our median is 105. Be careful not to write down the median as just 5. We need to read this stem and leaf plot as the tens and the units digit, so 10 and 5, 105. Finally, we need our range. Our range is found by finding the lowest number and subtracting it from the highest number. So in this case, our range is 119 minus 91. Our range is 28. This means that our set of data ranges over 28 different types of scores, or it could be possibly between 28 different scores. So here's your turn to write something down. I'd like you to pause and summarize both this slide and the other example slide. And that's it. Hopefully now you know how to draw and read a stem and leaf display, and you can use your notes in order to help you tomorrow. Good luck.